I'd like to thank you all for coming. I'm Bryan Law, I'm Superintendent of Schools here at Farmington, and I'd like to thank the people that are here. I'd like to thank our central office staff for helping us gather the information for this today, and our principals for the work that they have played on this and on their reports, and our teachers and our school board and our members as a whole. Been on this job now for 3.5 months, moving in from the assistant superintendent's position, and I'm very excited about our opportunities here. It's a great community with so many opportunities for our students as we grow and as education in the state changes. We are looking at the different possibilities that we have here to address those needs. 7 or 8 years ago, the school district looked at their vision. And at that time, the district's vision was to be the best school in the state of Arkansas. That's certainly a very lofty goal, a goal to be very proud of. We have looked in the past 3.5 months at that vision and talked about what that means. Obviously, to be the best is a great thing to say, but a hard thing to measure. And so one of the things we have looked at in our vision is trying to break down what we do. And one of the things we have looked at is changing our vision, not in what it says, but in how we go about it. And one of the things we have talked about is trying to set our vision as goals on a ladder and trying to attain each rung one at a time. Rather than say we're going to go from the bottom of the ladder to the top, we have to try to reach the top one rung at a time. And so we've been working to establish some goals for our district, for our buildings, for our grade groups, to help us as we begin to climb that ladder. We need some measurable goals. We need goals that have accountability, that as we begin to work to become the best school in Arkansas, we know what processes we've put in place to help us attain that. The finances of the district are very solid. You have a handout, and we'll provide that handout on the web. We start the school year with $720,000 beginning balance. We have expected revenue of $17.2 million. Salary fund of expenditure of $8.2 million. Operating expenditure of $6.9 million, debt service of $2 million, leaves us with an estimated ending balance of $723,000, which is obviously a very small growth. We certainly feel like we have estimated our revenues a little bit low, and we also feel like we've estimated our expenses a little high, and certainly feel like at the end of the year our ending balance will be much improved from that. We're very fortunate here that we have some other opportunities. One of the things that we have is we do have a soft drink contract with Coca-Cola that provides $12,000 to our school district, and also a $3,000 additional scholarship for two $1,500 scholarships for our students that they'll be receiving in May. Federal programs in Title I, we received $315,000. $22,000 of that will be held out at the district, and then the balance will be used at our elementary schools. $46,000 in Title II, and that money will be budgeted out for special ed services. Our district as a whole has started to look at where we are curriculum-wise. All of our schools are fully accredited by the Department of Ed. We have formed an ACCET plan through partnership with our staff. That is our ACCET plan, which is our improvement plan for our district, and that plan will be implemented by all schools in the district. We monitor it regularly to ensure that it's successful. As we talk about some of the things we're doing district-wide in the area of test scores, curriculum, education, the meat and potatoes of what we're doing, one of the things we're looking at very hard is a district-wide initiative to work to improve our number of teachers that are involved in PLCs.
Professional learning communities are a concept that we picked up about 3 years ago, and we have made an effort to become a district-wide professional learning community district, but we have not made a major input infusion of cash into that to make that possible. That's a very expensive prospect to get into. As we go into this year, that is one of the main focuses that we're working on, is to increase our number of teachers who will be involved in PLCs and their training in PLCs. We are sending 55 teachers to Tulsa this summer at a large expense to the district to try to make ourselves a higher number of PLC teachers in our district, and to make ourselves district-wide a professional learning community district in the next few years. Professional learning communities, we think, help us form great relationships with our students and help us form great relationships with our staff, where we're working together for the good of our students rather than working independently for the good of our students. The current year has brought in some new changes in our curriculum in the areas of Common Core standards. Common Core standards are going to provide a challenging new curriculum for all of our students. It's going to require higher order thinking. 44 states and 3 territories of the United States have implemented these. We're trying to better prepare our students for college and career readiness. With that comes a new assessment, the PARCC assessment. The PARCC assessment is an assessment that's been adopted by 22 states. Many of the states around us, Louisiana, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Mississippi. And the PARCC assessment is different than what we have done with traditional assessments. PARCC assessment will allow us to test on computers, which obviously gives us an opportunity to speed up the result process and getting information and feedback back on how our students have done. Part of the concern with the PARCC assessment is the fact that 3rd graders will be taking this assessment, and it concerns us a little bit about their skills needed to take that assessment on the computer. So we will have to work on that. The hardware and the infrastructure needed to have that many students to take an online assessment is also going to be a challenge for us. The Common Core standards are going to bring a big shift in how we teach and how our students learn. Performance-based standards with large increase in deeper thinking skills. Project-based learning, problem-based learning, both will be stressed. Detailed work will have to take place as we shift, which we are currently doing, from our current Arkansas frameworks to the new Common Core frameworks. Literacy is going to change. Literacy is going to require more informational text, a deeper ability to read and comprehend than what we've had in the past. And math standards are going to come down about 2 grade levels. So, example, I know that we've taught fractions in the past in 4th grade, I believe, and fractions are now coming down into 2nd and 3rd grade. The big push a few years ago was to move algebra from 9th grade to 8th grade. Now it appears the push is to move algebra from the 8th grade to 7th grade. So as things come down and as academic rigor increases in the lower grades, it forces us to pick that up at an earlier time. The infrastructure and the hardware required to run the PARCC assessments certainly going to be a challenge for us, and I do think I'm grateful that we're in a district that has the resources that we have, so we are able to do that. We have a strong technology department, and I think most of our technology is up to date, and I don't think that the technology end, the hardware end, is going to be as much a challenge for us as making sure we have the proper bandwidth for all of the students to be able to get on and take that test at the same time. Our district enrollment is 2,080 students. I noticed that when I looked at the report to the public from last year, our district enrollment was 2,012 students. We are a school choice participant, and of course school choice is currently somewhat up in the air with the court rulings from this summer. And just as quick as last Friday, we were in Little Rock, and there is still no headway on school choice in the legal system. So that is a little bit up in the air for us, but we are certainly a participant in that. We have some test score information that I want to provide, if we can. Michelle? Our test scores are very strong. These are test scores in the region, and I'm not going to necessarily read these off to you, but I think what you'll see is you look through these, the Northwest Arkansas region is certainly a very tough region in the state. The regional averages are always higher than the state averages, and therefore if you can compete in this region, you will see that you certainly are ahead of the game with the state average. You can see, as you go ahead and you can go through that, you will see that in most cases we are third or fourth in the region. In some cases we do dip down a little bit lower, offer us some areas for improvement. Those are our benchmark scores. Those are posted on the web. You'll see that our 5th grade science was #1 in the region, and we're very proud of that. Algebra end of course and geometry end of course, high stakes testing, biology, and literacy. Iowa test, 1st grade Iowa test. Iowa test, that one was math, this one's reading and language arts. 2nd grade Iowa math. Second grade Iowa reading and language, 2 of the 3, top in the region. 9th grade Iowa test, 3rd in the region in math. Reading 5th, writing 3rd. Test scores are very strong. The new assessment, the new Common Core standards, and the new assessment piece that comes on board with that certainly creates some challenges for us, but we certainly feel like we're in a position to be ready and prepared for that. Facilities at Farmington are at capacity. We are maxed out. Our high school has no additional classroom space. Our Folsom Elementary is out of classroom space. Williams Elementary has a few classroom spaces left. Ledbetter has, I believe, 1 classroom space left, and the middle school is at capacity. So we've been on a 10-year building plan, and it has been a challenge for us to stay ahead of the building plan. The growth is certainly been very rapid. If you'll pop up. This is our breakdown of our growth. I said earlier we had 2,280 students, 381 students at Williams. This is as of today. 327 at Folsom, 369 at Ledbetter, 521 at Lynch, and 682 at the high school. Every one of those have space concerns. Without a doubt, in my mind, the greatest space concern that we have at this time is our high school. We have been addressing that for probably 5 years now, looking at what possibilities we have to try to alleviate some of the concerns we have with space at the high school. We submit a master plan every 2 years, and on the even-numbered years. On the odd-numbered years, we have an opportunity to adjust that master plan, to amend it. This past year, we submitted that we have a plan to build a high school in 3 phases. Phase 1 of our high school will be a fine arts auditorium, a competition gymnasium, and the infrastructure that those 2 things need to work together. Classroom space for drama, classroom space for choir, a band room for the band. We have been looking at this, as you all know, for many years. This has been in discussions for about 5 years. And one of the things that we have, when we started this process, we looked at trying to build for size, build as big as we could possibly build. And we went out and purchased 45 acres south of the Methodist Church on Highway 170. Our current campus sits on 14 acres. We purchased 45 acres at the recommendation of the Department of Ed and Department of Facilities that was the space we would need for a large number of years. The plan is to go up rather than out, to build 2-story buildings and to conserve our square footage space on the ground so we have more opportunities to spread and grow. As we've made those plans, some of the things we have learned is we have looked at our fine arts auditorium, and one of the determinations that was made was we were going to build a big auditorium. And as we begin to take people out with an expertise in that area, they begin to look at that and told our school board and myself, Mr. Wright, when he was here, that quality of what the building was like was every bit as important as the quantity, the size of the building, which at that time brought us back and we reevaluated where we were on that. We planned to start turning dirt this fall on a fine arts auditorium that will house roughly 600 students. That will be a tremendous asset for this district. It will allow our drama students, our choir students, our band students, our students at every one of our buildings, because this will be a district-wide building, to use that facility, and it will be a beautiful facility. We're going to build a competition gymnasium for our ball teams to play in, something that is greatly in need. Our bleachers have tremendous problems at our current facility, and we have problems with our gym floor, so we are very excited about that. And then we're going to build the classrooms for the drama, the choir, and the band. This will be a beautiful facility. Phase 2 is actually going to be our instructional spaces, and that is where we're at today. We are in the process of looking at how we want Phase 2 to look and how Phase 2 needs to be structured as an academic facility. All that being said, with the changes that are coming down, just Friday, we were in Little Rock at a meeting, and Dr. Kimbrell spoke to the mostly superintendents, some assistant superintendents, and he somewhat chastised us over the fact that when he walks in elementary schools look different than how they looked even 10 or 15 years ago. But high schools, according to him, still look like they did when he went to high school. And at our table, we sat there and had some discussion about that, and there is some truth to that. Our elementary schools have changed more than our high schools have, and there's reasons for that. The nature of the facility, the numbers involved, and the staff involved with making that happen certainly have affected that. But we need to look at how we can structure this facility that makes the best sense for the facility and for the square footage and for the dollars, that also has the most educational sense. In our elementary, we've moved to some project problem-based learning. We have looked at gender-specific classrooms. We're looking at looping, which is taking a group of students in second grade, for example, and when they move to third grade, they move with their teacher. So there is no change, there is no transition during the summertime that you'd normally have. Those things are in place. In the high school, some of the things we are looking at, number one, are our advanced placement classes. You've got some information there. We have 226 exams that were taken by 128 students in 9 different classes for AP. We certainly want to encourage many of our students to take AP classes. And then we want them to work hard and apply the rigor that needs to be done so they can score a 3, 4, or 5 on that advanced placement test and then earn college credit as they move out. Some of the other things we've looked at the New Tech high school concepts. New Tech is a component that's not totally about technology. New Tech is a concept that's about project or problem-based learning. And one of the things that has become apparent to me is, as you go to the elementary schools, and some of our students are now beginning to try project-based learning, and they're successful, the expectation is going to be that if those students are successful in that form of instruction, we need to find a way to keep that in some fashion as they move through the middle school and high school. STEM schools are another thing that's been looked at. Science, technology, engineering, and math. And also academies dealing in specific areas such as biomedical, engineering, and communications, where students can focus in on an area a little bit more specific to what they feel like their career choice will be. All of this ties back in with the Common Core standards, which we're starting to implement in the elementary school this year, which say to have students college and career ready. And we are certainly striving for that. We have more emphasis on career and technical education as we bring a new high school online. More opportunities for concurrent credit classes for our students. We would love to see our students graduate from high school with enough credits to almost be a sophomore in high school. Now that will take time. The other thing that takes is space. And all of these items have to go in together with the construction of the new high school. Test scores are very strong. We have a tremendous staff here. We have great principals. We have a great central office staff. These people are leading a tremendous group of teachers. We are lucky. I've made it an emphasis to try to get around to every building and have lunch with every grade group by Christmas. So the teachers and I can sit down and communicate one-on-one. I sat down at Williams Elementary 2 weeks ago, and one of the teachers who has been other places besides here sat there and told me and told the group how fortunate we were. And we certainly are very fortunate. We live in a great area. We have great community and parental support. And I'm very excited about what the future holds for us here at Farmington. I certainly hope that as we close this up, the one thing that we take out of this is that we want to make decisions that are best for students. Not necessarily decisions that are best for adults. We want to make decisions that are best for students. Anybody have any questions? Thank you.